Hey everyone, I'm Anna Berry.
And I'm Tom Biolchini.
And this is Behind the Scenes Oklahoma.
I'm Tom Biolchini with Behind the Scenes Oklahoma.
Welcome everyone. We're so excited to be talking about the creatives that are shaping the future of film and television right here in Oklahoma. And our first guest is a longtime friend of mine. I've known you for 20 plus years. A very established director, producer, writer. You spent much of your career in New York City, and we're happy to welcome you back in Oklahoma.
I'm stoked to be here. Thanks.
Juan Pablo Reinoso, the one and only.
Hello.
Hello.
It's like
Your name is Juan Pablo
I
Reinoso.
know, it's nice when people say it as make me feel so handsome when they say it that way.
Well, you're welcome. You are handsome. You're guapo.
Yeah, and he came back to his home turf in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which makes me happy.
Right. And how did you guys meet?
We knew each other from high school.
Right. Cassia Hall.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, he was a couple years older than me, but we knew, our families knew each other and, went to the same church and all that stuff. So,
Wow. What was Juan like in high school?
kind of a goofball.
Oh,
He was a
God.
thespian. He was an actor.
I was at that.
He was an actor. He was a singer. He was what he was meant to be.
Right. So Harbor Thoughts, we hung out at Gold Coast. If anyone over 40 remembers Gold Coast, it was the place where everyone would go hang out and smoke cigarettes and drink coffee all night long. It was awesome. Are you still
We
smoking?
could smoke inside there.
We could
couldn't
smoke inside.
Yeah, that's how long ago that was.
Juan, are you still smoking?
Oh, I am.
Come on, let's get T-Set to
I'm trying to get the New York out of him. It's
sponsor
a work in
this
progress.
episode. This episode is not brought to you by T-Set.
Definitely not. No. Yeah. New York didn't make me smoke. I was smoking since I was 16.
Tulsa made him smoke.
Tulsa started me smoking.
Okay.
It was in the 80s. 80s and 90s, we all smoked. Tom, you didn't smoke?
I did not.
You
Yep,
never
well,
smoked?
and
I
you
like
know-
cigars. I'll smoke cigars. I
And,
mean,
I started smoking
time to time.
because of a play. So I was like, my character smoked in the play, so I started smoking, and I used to think it was disgusting.
well, you wouldn't have that sexy voice if you didn't smoke. So think of it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I feel like I've always sounded like
It's a blessing. It's not a curse, Juan.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
All right, so New York City, you were there for many, many years. Did you guys keep in touch, or how did you
No.
reconnect?
No, just an old high school, a familiar face.
Yeah.
He came back into town, did some projects for Vast Bank, and we started connecting. And he was doing this slate of horror movies, and I have always wanted to be a part of a horror movie, and so that's how we started talking.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to rein it in and we're going to talk mad props. That's what this is really about. This is the creation of a documentary that was so good. I loved watching it at Circle Cinema. And I just have one big question. Who is the executive producer? Who is the director? Who
Okay.
did what?
So, I was the co-director with Juan. I was the co-producer with Juan, and I was also the executive producer. Juan, what's your interpretation?
I don't think you were director at all. And I think he's doing that to get a rise out of me.
And it worked. I was not the director. Juan was the
I'm
director
sure.
and the producer of Mad Props. Now,
I'm sure
I
he probably
was,
got my eyes probably went like this for half a
I
second.
was
think.
instrumental. I feel like because I was constantly talking to Juan about it, but I've never directed anything before. I just had opinions on how I wanted it to flow.
No,
he
and
was the director.
No, but creatively, of course, Tom. The whole idea was Tom's.
Okay.
So Tom, it was absolutely Tom's idea. And then I was just, he brought me in to just basically help bring it to life.
And he brought it to life, by the way.
Well, I love how you told me earlier that a lot of artists have an idea, but why did you choose to go with the documentary first over anything else?
Well, so Tom's initial idea was, hey, I have this idea for a TV show. And told me what it was, and then I was like, I think it's awesome. The only problem with the TV show is TV is like the music industry. It's like of the worst possible thing to try to get into if you don't already have like some sort of, not literally incestuous, but like you're really already tied into it, like deeply inside on it. It's virtually impossible to get a show off the ground if you're nobody.
Right.
And so I said, well, why don't we do a documentary instead? So that way, in theory, you're making a movie that you might be able to make money off of. And then we can also use that as a way to pitch the show.
And that's the angle I loved, because from an outsider's perspective, you got to take us on a journey of you, the prop collector, interviewing other prop collectors around the world, other people who are just as quirky and obsessed as you are. I mean, I'm sure you
It was
made a
fun.
lot of friends.
It was fun. I did make a lot of friends, and it's so interesting because this is kind of a unique hobby, right? It was so interesting to find people that were just like me, and they had the exact same ideas. And the ironic thing, I'd find people that were like, yeah, when I was younger, or I have also a collection of action figures. And on the film, I'm like, I have a collection of action figures. What's wrong with us? I mean, that's just kind of how it came to. So it was really fun traveling. And I will tell you, I'm new to the film industry. Juan has been doing it for his entire career. And I am so impressed how hard these people work. Like, the filming was fun, but what you're missing is the fact that we had to wake up and be in the hotel at 4 a.m. to catch the next flight, to go get the equipment, to check in, to get on site to film. I mean, I'm getting in the hotel room at 9:30 at night. I'm like, I was going to try to go work out or something, but it didn't happen. Very impressed with that. And I will also say this, Juan did an exceptional job of finding all these people and then putting the story together. I was really pleased with that.
Which was like the hardest part of it.
How did you find the people?
It was like it's like insider baseball, right? Because
Craigslist?
they're all very private. They're not like Tom in that sense at all. Tom's very much like, come look at my stuff. But the collecting world, prop collecting world, they're very tight-lipped. They don't really like. It was hard to find, so I put out a lot of feelers. I looked up prop groups on Facebook and just like tons, and it took me a couple of months, I think, before I finally found a guy who actually started asking me the questions about my background. Then he did his due diligence and realized, oh, okay, this isn't like some Joe Schmo. He's actually got, stuff to back up that he's done. And then from there, he went ahead and let the groups out there know this guy's legit. These guys are really doing this and this. And then from there, it was just like a waterfall.
How many
prop collectors?
Prop collectors did you interview?
Geez, I can't. I mean,
in the show itself, or just
Yeah.
generally speaking? Generally speaking, that would have been more of Juan because he set all this stuff up. In the show, we had what? We had 9,
yeah, I think something
maybe
like
9
that.
collectors or something like that.
Yeah.
And how many
yeah.
countries did you go to?
Let's see. We hit multiple states in the Union, and then we hit Italy, France, and the UK.
I
London.
loved the shots of Italy and even France. Some of those collectors were really unique people.
Yeah. Oh,
The guys.
Yeah. They were my favorite. Luca was.
Yeah, Luca was my favorite. He was the one in Arezzo, Italy, and he has such a fantastic personality. But more importantly, I keep seeing him on TV now, like or I guess in magazines and because he's really touching all these high level films, and I believe he's bringing props to it. So,
Oh, wow.
I think.
Okay, so let's take what happened with the production. You got it produced, you got it distributed. You had a fabulous premiere at Circle Cinema, which was so fun. What was that like having your family see it? Was this the first time they saw it?
Yeah, well, my family saw maybe like a rough cut, but that was the first time they really got to see it with the sound, with the colored, that sort of thing. I mean, that's a once in a lifetime opportunity. We had 300 people there, maybe more.
Yeah, it was 2 theaters, right?
I don't know. Maybe you've done this before. Has that ever occurred for you? Because obviously this is my
Well,
first time.
has what
Having a film like that in Circle Cinema or any theater that you.
Oh yeah,
were
no,
part
I
of?
had stuff at Tribeca. We had I've had a few screenings at.
Yeah, but Circle Cinema. I mean, that's the best theater in Tulsa, and it was packed.
Tribeca
And-
Grand, I should specify,
Okay.
not the
I'm
actual
sure that
film
I
festival.
would
Well,
love to
as a-
see Mad
as-
Props at Tribeca Grand or
I would tell you, as a
Venice.
very proud Tulsan, very proud Oklahoman, to be able to show your film in Circle Cinema is really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a historic theater. It's like getting into Kane's Ballroom and playing. It's a special thing.
So from Circle Cinema, now it is out there. Where can people watch it?
So it is available to rent or purchase on like basically every major platform, like Prime, Apple, etc. It's not on like Hulu or Netflix, so it's only on like those sorts of outlets and stuff. And you can also buy the Blu-ray
Okay.
online as well, which is kind of cool. Which actually, I still don't even have a Blu-ray. Come to think of it,
Who has a Blu-ray? So
well,
you
no,
can,
apparently it's a thing.
I bought
Really?
some.
Oh, yeah, Tom's
I
got
got a
it.
pile of them. I
You have
don't
a
know what I'm going to
collection?
do with them. Huh? Yeah, right. Something else
that's
to
a
collect.
your next collection.
Oh,
the next
great.
collection.
Yeah, the
Blu-ray,
Blu-rays.
So it's available for purchase or to rent, and I hear that it's got really good reviews on Rotten Tomatoes.
100% freshness on Rotten Tomatoes, which is, even I was dumbfounded by that. You know, it's just like I can't believe. I mean, that's
I was pleased. It's interesting when you put together something like this, and I thought Juan did a really nice job with the whole presentation and the narrative. But you don't know if other people are going to like it. You know, I don't know if are they going to think this is interesting, boring, well done, not well done, and then to have third-party people who aren't my friends. Of course, my friends are going to say nice things. So is my family. But to have third parties come in and give you good reviews, it's rewarding.
Absolutely. So from the local, right? Everyone in Tulsa loves it. People can watch it. They can rent it. They can buy it. But how did it get to Sitges? Did I say that correctly?
Sitges.
Sitges.
Yeah.
Sitges Film Festival in Spain. How did it get there?
that was
Well, it was submitted. It was submitted to
Yeah.
the festival, and then they chose that film. Think about this. I don't know if the number. Do we know how many it was chosen out of? What the percentage was?
Yeah, so I believe there were something like 12,000 overall films submitted to this year's festival, and there were 9 total documentaries that were at the festival. So that alone was pretty cool.
I'm actually getting my calculator out. What was the number of films? Do you know the number of films?
That actually played at the festival
that
in
actually
general.
made it into the festival. Do we know
Oh
that?
no, I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's got to be somewhere in like the 100.
It was a big deal though,
Yeah.
and that's why we went.
Was it nominated for something or was it just shown?
It was in the.
Yeah, so it was up for best documentary in the documentary competition.
Okay.
So
Did you
yeah.
win?
No, unfortunately, we did not win. I
What
mean,
beat you?
even I. Well, first of all, both Tom and I were floored it was even there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was like, I mean, even the rest of our team my team at Firebook was like, what's happening? How'd that happen? And I started getting congrats. You're a Sitges nominated director, or you're this, that. And I was like, I didn't even realize that was like such a big deal until afterwards. So that's cool enough. So the idea that I never thought I would say it, but like it's an honor to be nominated.
Yes.
I never, you always think that's the cheesiest.
No, well, that's what the team said when they got on the phone with me, because I don't know what this means necessarily, as I'm learning the film industry. And they said, listen, you're not going to win, but it's such a big deal that you made it into this that you got to go.
Yeah.
So an Oklahoma film made it into Sitges, and I'm very proud of that.
It was so funny how blunt he was, like David was about that. He's like, you're not going to win.
Yeah, you're not going to win. You get that out of your head, but you got to go.
Cool. It kind of like relieves you a little bit.
How did people receive it? Did they like it?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the feedback was really good.
Yeah.
Don't you think, Juan?
We got great reviews from the press that were there that covered it. Again, it was just the continued great press while we were there. I mean, it wasn't as much as we'd like, obviously, because you always want as much coverage as possible. But hey, I'll take limited coverage that's 100% versus a whole bunch of mediocre responses. So yeah, I guess in that sense, yeah, it was great.
It was also fun to share with my wife and my son, to have them there. That was really kind of cool. And you brought your mom.
And I brought my mom as my date.
Yeah.
She was super excited because it's technically our homeland, if you will. So that was super awesome. Yeah.
So you were there for Mad Props, but you were also there with Firebook Entertainment. So this is a company you both started together?
With a third partner by the name of John Moss.
Hey, John.
Hey, John.
There's John. We love John. John's got a great history here in Tulsa, too.
Yeah.
All right. So what's Firebook?
John's awesome. So I was, I am pretty bad at business. So
We're artists. What can we say?
Yeah. And so when I met John, Tom had actually connected us through someone else, connected me to someone else who was working with John. And then when I met John, I was just like, this guy's brain is what I need. And so he's like the 90 business, 10 creative, and I'm the 10 business, 90 creative. And then Tom, who's obviously I'd already been working with for already a few years now at this point. Tom joined up as our other partner in there, and it's just been amazing. So it's just basically we're a film, TV production, acquisition, and sales and distribution company, international company.
So for someone who might not know what that means, what does that mean?
You know, we
What do
make
you
film,
do?
we make film and television, we buy film and television, we sell and distribute film and television
Right.
internationally.
Well said. And I believe it's the only company that's doing this in the state of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So
All those things together, yeah.
and break that down a little bit more. What does that mean for the state of Oklahoma?
Well, first of all, you've got a company headquartered here. So as we grow and we add employees, it's doing what I would hope would happen as we diversify our economy in Oklahoma. It's creating jobs, first and foremost. But also, gives me the opportunity and our team to potentially work with Oklahoma City, the capital, to go there and talk to legislatures about needing more incentive. Because if we have these movies come into Firebook that we're either investing or actually filming ourselves, creating it ourselves as an original production, we're going to need incentives. And my part of this process is educating the state so they understand what they're competing against in other states. So the goal is to employ people here, to enhance the arts in the film industry, and then also to really bring as many films as possible to, the state of Oklahoma.
Bring stuff here, but also help develop and retain creative talent that already exists here to keep them like me having left as soon as I graduated high school.
Me too.
And
Couldn't wait to get
Which
out.
I mean, I think everyone should leave so
Yeah,
they
but
can
there's no work for us
experience.
creatives here.
But work-wise, yeah, especially when I was coming up, and Tulsa's
Right.
changed a lot. And to his point, by the way, about doing that, and there's a lot of people that are involved in that too. It's not. I don't want it to seem like it's just Firebook and just Tom, but Tom is like a top person in there with those ties to the legislature, and there's a bunch of other creatives who are also involved in that lobbying and stuff like that. So
You were in Spain looking for movies to buy.
yeah, and it was just coincidental that Firebook. So we started in January of 24, and then by Cannes, which was our first thing was Brussels, and we picked up a couple of titles there. And then when we went to Cannes in May, it exploded because since we're filmmakers, we know how to treat filmmakers, and so everyone responded like gangbusters to us, and we just took off much quicker than we had anticipated. And so we've been picking up all kinds of titles for different, reasons, whether it's sales, distro, production, long-term stuff as well, like for development. And then, oh crap, what was the question?
Would you talk about Parvulos?
Yeah.
Yeah, fill us in on Parvulos and what you were doing at Sitges there
Oh,
on behalf
sorry.
of Firebook.
So Firebook was already going to be at Sitges, coincidentally, when we found out that Mad Props got accepted at Sitges. So it was just like, hey, well, that's fun. We were already there. And then we had picked up another title called Parvulos out of Mexico, which is this amazing. It's the first horror movie I've ever seen that made me cry. And it's this beautifully creepy film about kids surviving in the apocalypse.
It made me laugh.
Yeah. Well, no, it is. It's got a lot of humorous elements too. But
I can't
it's
handle horror
it's a
films.
but it's not what you think.
Okay.
It is definitely a digestible. I mean, it's got a couple of glory moments, and it's a zombie film. But as far as
It's a horror movie. Trust me.
it is.
I know my
Help me
horror
out.
movies. It's a horror movie. It is. But
It's a
good.
horror movie. Yeah,
It's good. It's
But,
entertaining.
I absolutely love it. And so that had already been lined. We had picked it up for distribution, but it had already been set up for a whole bunch of festivals and stuff like that. And so
How's it doing so far? How's Firebook doing with?
it's good. So right now we're looking at North American theatrical, I believe around Valentine's Day because, love.
Yeah.
And it does have zombie love, actually.
Zombie
Well,
love.
you'll have to see that. Don't worry, it's not gross. But that's actually one of the funny moments. And that should be around Valentine's Day. And then, and then it's like a slow rollout from there. Yeah.
One of these times we have to go into detail on what a theatrical release actually means and how you make money from it in the film industry. I've learned that just in the past couple months working with these guys. It's interesting.
I want to know, how do you make money from a theatrical release with a movie like Parvulos?
Don't even look at me. That's
John.
I don't mind telling you.
Can we call
I'll
John?
give you a quick answer.
Tom
I'll
and
give you a
John
quick answer.
have been working on that.
And it's fascinating. First of all, you partner with somebody in the industry who has the connections to certain groups of theaters, right?
Yep.
And the idea is a film will come to Firebook and say, listen, I'm looking at maybe 100 theaters or 200 theaters or 400 theaters in the United States, all the way up to 5,000.
Which is only like hot. That's the biggest. That's Marvel level.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's Tom Cruise stuff. But let's say you do 100 theaters. Well, what Firebook does, we go in there and we'll find 100 theaters, and we have to pay for it. And then basically there's a gross amount of money that's made every single film, right? It's either going to be shown 7 to 24 times, and it all varies. Really hard to financially model because it varies, right? If it's doing really well, well, then the theater is going to want it more, so it's going to play more. And if it's doing well, there's going to be more people attending, so the attendance is going to be higher. But anyways, you have a gross profit. That's how much money revenue you pull in per night. The theater gets 50%. The film producers or the makers of the film get 40%. And then 10% goes to Firebook. So that's what it is. It is a 50, 40, 10 split. But if you do the math and you put it in the right theaters, it's shocking how much money you can make if you're successful.
Yeah, and you're kind of like a broker in a way. You broker the deal and you make money off of it. So that's a theatrical release. Now, what about if someone's listening and they have a film that they already shot and edited, they're just needing distribution, can they reach out to you guys?
Yeah, that's what. And then we come in there, and then we. One of the things that we have standards that we set though from the get go is that we only do tier 1. So tier 1 for us, we define that as filmmakers or creative teams behind the project that have won major festival awards, whether it's with shorts or whatever it is, but it has already elevated them in terms of their quality.
Okay.
And then we'll review the project, and assuming that we're on board with that as well, then that's when we negotiate how it gets picked up and stuff. And it also depends on what they need, because some of them, like a lot of the we've picked up a lot of Latin American or Spanish speaking titles, and those, for instance, sometimes they already have distribution in LATAM countries. And then so we would handle the rest of the world or something like that. So there's different things.
Anna, on Behind the Scenes Oklahoma, we are going to we should spend time exploring how people start off in this industry. How do they get to that point that distributors want to pick them up? You heard what Juan said, and he's right. That Firebook is a for-profit organization that needs to make money, so it's got to fit this description for them to even make it worth their time, so they make money, right? But boy, if you're not known and you don't have the money to do it, that's what I want to explore. I want to explore ways, avenues for people that are artists or directors or actors, doesn't matter, for them to get a shot.
Yes.
To have a shot.
Yes.
So let's explore that over time.
It's a catch-22, but there's always a catch to the catch-22.
Well, and that's how I started
great
too,
movie,
was
too.
figuring out how to make projects for
Yeah.
zero money. When I was
Hello.
first starting, it's just like,
Well, I have a question, because I know a lot of filmmakers in Oklahoma. If they have a great short, let's say they produced a short of a feature they want to produce, can you guys help with that?
yeah. So yes, we can help develop. Like there are a couple of projects right now that were involved. They weren't shorts, but projects that we're intimately involved with in development and helping shape it and get it into a feature length, or we have a couple of TV shows as well. So we can. I mean, that's the simple answer. I mean, there are a lot of other factors that go into it. What do we think it's going to cost? Are we looking for talent? What kind of
Okay.
level of this, that? Does the short can the short be something that we can actually help strategize a way for it to be released and for festivals and stuff like that to generate buzz? And I mean,
There's a lot.
It's a
It's a
very
complicated
thing.
industry, and that's why we're covering it so we can help explain it to everyone else out there. I want to circle back quickly to Mad Props. What is next with Mad Props?
Juan and I well, first of all, we're looking to do a theatrical release. So that'll be fun. We'll go to major cities in the U.S. and then release it. But we're also working on a TV show. So we finally partnered with some folks out of LA that have done TV shows before in the past. And they are bought in 100%. And now they're looking to go sell it, or to sell the concept to Fox, Discovery. What were some of the other ones, Juan?
Fox, Discovery,
Some of the
A&E.
Well, it doesn't matter. It was some of the larger players. I have Patrick Warburton signed up as my co-host, and then we have 2 other experts in the industry. And the concept really is this notion of me as a banker or investor, and I go out and raise money like I would for any investment. And we go around the world and we find props at good prices. We authenticate them. We make sure they're real, bringing in the actors and the creators. And then we either make a deal or we don't make a deal. And it either becomes part of the
my
collection,
gosh.
part of the investment, or it doesn't. So
Like Antiques Roadshow,
it
Props
is-
Roadshow.
it is just like that. I mean,
I see it.
it's American Pickers, basically, is what it is. Except it's for movie props. And we don't know.
Pickers?
I don't know the chances of us getting it off the ground or having somebody buy it. But you asked what we're up to next. That is it.
That's so exciting. Well, Juan, thank you. I'm like I said to you the other day, you've worked so hard doing so many things, and it's finally paying off. And I see
But
you.
it's paying off, by the way, because I mean, I couldn't have done it without somebody like Tom,
Amen.
believing it, because it was basically just like I mean, granted, I've been doing it, and I've made a living off of it my entire career, but I didn't get to the creative level that I've gotten to now without Tom's belief and whatnot. So that's been a huge thing, and not everyone's that fortunate to have that sort of support. But
I get by with a little help from
yeah,
my
and
friends.
it's all who you surround yourself with.
Truly. In this industry, especially as creatives, we have to stay together, support each other, have an abundance mentality, keep knocking on the doors, because one will open. And I'm just happy it's open for you.
Get rid of your self-respect,
Amen.
because I feel like that I've seen it a million times.
Too late for me.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what? And let's continue to create an ecosystem here in the state of Oklahoma that allows for more of these films being made in TV, film, doesn't matter, in the state of Oklahoma. If we have the infrastructure, more of it's going to occur, and all these people that are starving artists in Oklahoma will have better shots.
Well, we have the beginning of an infrastructure. There's still a lot to go.
Yeah.
But yes, it's
Beginning.
there. and
It
it's
is
on
the
way.
beginning. We have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
And also at Firebook too, is where, I mean, I'm a minority, and so for me, it's also one of the biggest things that we're pushing is, of course, more people of color and women directors and creators, and really supporting that, because there's such a huge indigenous and Hispanic population, or Latinx population in Oklahoma.
Absolutely.
as
We have a
well that
global
needs-
group of community of creatives here in Oklahoma. I love that.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting over the next several months and years on Behind the Scenes Oklahoma. Anna and I, we will find out what our state has and what our state is lacking.
Yeah.
Man.
And
Part of the journey.
share this story
Yep.
with the world. So we thank you all for listening and watching. Thank you, Juan. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah,
Thanks for
thank you,
having me.
Anna.
Yeah.
Juan, thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Let's do another one together. How about that?
Yes.
We're
Mad
gonna
Props
do
Part
many
2.
more.
Behind the scenes, Oklahoma.
That props even matter.
And we're out.